Greetings, Algo artisans. What is up? It is Cowboy, and it is what is today? Wednesday the 24th, and it is 8:30 AM EST, and we are now live and in charge. And let's go ahead and jump right into the charts. If you want to know more about Algo Factory, there's a QR code at the top right-hand corner. Zap that. It'll show you what we do, how we help people learn how to build their own trading method, otherwise known as an algorithm, right? People hear algorithm, they get scared. I don't know how to do computer programming. This is not for me. That's not true. You don't have to know programming, and algorithms don't require it. Just a simple trading method is technically an algorithm. We just help you build one, and we help you learn how to test it and make sure that it works and then deploy it. All right, cool. So I'm going to go ahead, jump right into the charts here, look at Bitcoin, and we see it going back and forth, clearly in a range, holding where it's been the last few days. Okay, so it really has been pretty stubborn the last 4 or 5 days, sitting right at 66,000. And this can be good for the alts. Let's actually take a quick look at some of the altcoins here, see how they're doing. Looks like a lot of stuff is up over 24 hours, but just barely up. Matic doing well. Okay. But Matic was doing terribly. So it looks like a lot of these alts are just kind of hanging out, aside from some of the more, smaller ones. So it's the alt markets, just from looking at the 24-hour numbers, is stable. It's not rising in particular. So that's good. That's not, it's fine. They're not getting crushed. That's always nice. So what's going to happen, right? Now, I last looked at the liquidity yesterday during this show, and we had liquidity where these two boxes are. So let me zoom in. And to chart this out number-wise, the liquidity to the top side was between 69 and 70,000. And price tends to go towards that. Now we're going to reassess this liquidity. We're going to look again right now to see if it's still there, because that can change. Liquidity to the downside was 65.5 to 64.5-ish, right? So that's where the liquidity was to the downside. And let's just go ahead and chart that out. We're going to go to the Kingfisher.io. This is a really great program. You can buy a subscription to it, and they have a lot of data on there. You got options data. You can look at, I believe it's the gamma, and you can see what the market might do in the future based on that. It's really great stuff called the GEX Plus. However, you can simply look up the liquidity nodes, and you can do it for free by spinning the wheel that you see me spinning right now. And I'm not going to continue to do that. Just wanted to show you what that's about. But if you want to get a subscription, use the referral code. You get a discount. It's in the description. Most liquidity close by is to the downside. You're looking at 64,300 to 65.7 or so. So the box just kind of came up a little bit, with the closest node really at 65.5. So we'll just leave that box right where it is. To the top side, 69.2 to about 71.6. So the top side expanded. So the liquidity profile hasn't really changed all that much. It's just broadened out a little bit. So I'll leave it where it is, basically, right? We can just expand this out just a hair like we talked about. And so what'll happen is, usually, if the charts and the algos call for a move up, then price will go up into this liquidity. If the charts and the algos call for a move down, then it will go down into the other liquidity. It's not necessarily what happens, but it usually is. So there is a pretty good indication of where price might go should the charts call for a move in a particular direction. Now, what I do is I use a lot of data to help determine which way the charts will go. And the first data I use is price action. Okay. Oh, hey, looks like I won a trade there. That's always nice. Let's see here. Did I win the trade? Okay, good. Well, it's always nice to win a trade. Okay, that TP means take profit. That was on a euro trade. So the point here is that now the price action right now, it's pretty basic. It's in a range, right? So in the high time frame, there's not a whole lot of data like, that it's telling us which way price is going to go. And then if I look at some of the data to the bottom here, it is pretty flat. You have basically price is weekly bullish, WEAK, weekly bullish up against resistance. That means it wants to go up, but there is there are other factors pushing it down, which is basically compressing price into a range. So no mystery there. Now, if we go to the daily chart here, really it's the 18-hour, because I use the 18-hour. It works better for my algos. And I've tested it. Like, so if people are just copying me using the 18-hour, probably not wise. You want to test it. Now, the same thing's happening with the algos there. So price wants to go up, but there are forces pushing it down, which is compressing price into a range. So we're seeing kind of a post having lull. And if a post having lull continues, if Bitcoin doesn't want to do very much over the next week or so, there's a decent chance that the market will see that as stability and that price will continue to head up. Now, if we revisit the Kingfisher here, we can see some of the liquidity data. There is a fair amount of liquidity. Way to the downside, we got 57,000. We have about 50,000. So those are some kind of deeper targets where price might go if, for whatever reason, price decides to make a strong move to the downside. And it's not to say that it will, but I do like to have those marked out. Because what happens, if price becomes super stable, but there's not a lot of volatility, like if price kind of starts to range, but a super, super tight range, usually that means that it's going to do something big, right? And it's starting to do that right now. I mean, the little range that is created within this greater range that I've already drawn, this big rectangle that you see on the screen, that's a larger range. But when you see price compress into a smaller range, usually what that means is after a period of time, when the volatility falls off a cliff, then price will actually make a big move. So let me color code these liquidity nodes as yellow so we don't confuse ourselves for price action demarcation, right? So the yellow is liquidity. And we'll go ahead and code this price action prediction to be blue. And then that way we know that that's all related to price action, right? Okay, good. So yeah, whichever way this goes afterwards, that remains to be seen. Of course, the liquidity to the downside is stronger, but the charts do want to head up, so that could be ignored. And at this point, really, the only way I can have a clue as to which way price is going to go once it breaks out of this small little range in here is which way it actually goes. So if price breaks to the upside and stays above that for at least, I don't know, 5-6 hours, maybe 3 hours, if like one of these, if a lower time frame, like a 3-hour candle breaks and closes above, then there's a decent chance price will go ahead and head up. And the same to the downside. Now, there's not a lot of room for price to go down, right? It'll just go down into this box. That'll be pretty quick. But there are tradable situations on a lower time frame with that. So we can take a look at the 3-hour just to see how all the metrics are behaving on that. So let's do that. Yeah, it's actually, there's not much to see on here. I'm looking at it and it's just the same thing. Volatility is pretty low. Price in the same range that we marked out on the higher time frame, right? So it's just back and forth between what is basically 66,000 and 67,000, I mean to say. So not a lot going on with crypto or Bitcoin right now. So it's a pretty boring market. You're going to find a little bit more action in the altcoins. So I think what we'll do is we've looked at Bitcoin here. We're usually going to hop over to the private room after 10 minutes. So I think I'll go ahead and do that. Later today, if I decide to do a video, I may simply go over some of the charts like, Solana and, AVAX and just all the charts that people want to see. I generally do a video and I put it out regarding like a particular crypto that I want to highlight that I think will do well or could do well. That's usually what I do, but at least once a week, I just do a kind of a chart roundup, and I may choose to do that. As a matter of fact, if you all give me some ideas of what you want, if you're watching this on X, then, tell me what you want. If you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, whatever it is, if you want me to chart something for you, go ahead and leave a comment, whether it's now or whether it's later. So we're going to end this right now. So you'll probably have to leave it in the YouTube comments or, just talk to me on X and I will do a custom review. All right. Perfect. So I'm going to hop off. Thank you all for watching. Zap the QR code in the top right-hand side of the corner. We got people building algos left and right now. We got at least like 5 or 6 people who are really, really putting their nose to the grindstone, getting those algos built. And in the meantime, I'm in there sharing a lot of my trades, especially like my crypto holds. If I decide to, grab some crypto for the bull run, I've been pretty open about which ones I'm grabbing in our private room. And I've been doing that really. I mean, I've been doing it technically since last year when I got Solana below $20. And a few others like that. But mostly at the beginning of this year, I picked up some pretty awesome alts, and a lot of them are well above their pre-run levels, but some of them are back down to pre-run levels. So the ones that did well and kind of got taken back down over the last month, they're probably going to do well again. So if you want to know which coins I was interested in, then head over to Algo Factory, zap QR code. We'll see you over there. And for now,
join us or die.